Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to QGTV. Today we're on day 24 of Ramadan 2011, and we'll be doing a block of chapters, which are chapter 47, Muhammad, chapter 48, Al-Fath, and chapter 49, Al-Hujurat. A bit about these chapters. I believe that there is a certain structural layer within these three chapters. Chapters 47 and 48 are definitely twins, but if you throw chapter 49 into the equation, it seems that chapter 49 acts as a general strategy in the implementation of the principles of chapter 47 and 48. So here we can see that 47 and 48 are twins, but 47, 48, 49 are definitely triplets in that sense. If we read from 47 up to the end of 49, we can get a coherent discourse about the struggle for peace. And this is what I believe the general theme is. So we begin with chapter 47, Muhammad, and it starts with الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله أضل أعمالهم. Those who reject, what are they rejecting? Kafaru, so they have rejected now. What have they rejected? Well, I believe that they have rejected the entire philosophy which was expounded in the Hamim series. In the Hamim series, we've seen a number of topics being revolved and highlighted, backgrounded, and thus shown to us as the struggle of Islam. These people have rejected it, and it is said to be they have been said to be doing saddu an sabilillah. They are preventing from the path of Allah, and therefore their deeds are swerved astray. So what is the opposite of this state? Well, the next verse says وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So they have believed. Yeah. So these people, they have believed now. What have they believed in? Again, I believe that this refers to the Hamim series. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. And they work righteousness, and that is the working righteousness, or Amal Salih, is like the general philosophy of action to produce a suluh state, a state where reconciliation takes place. وَآمَنُوا بِمَا نُزِّلَ عَلَى Muhammad. So they have believed in what was descended on Muhammad. This is only the third time in the Quran that the name Muhammad has been mentioned. It's mentioned in chapter 3, Ali Imran, chapter 33, Al-Ahzab, and now chapter 47. Chapter 48 also has it, which is one of the reasons why I consider 47 and 48 to be twins. But these people, they believe in what has been descended upon Muhammad. Now, why is Muhammad the particular word mentioned here? Well, here we can see that the word Rasul could have been there, the word Nabi could have been there, but no, the word Muhammad was used. And the reason is, at this stage, at the stage of chapter 47, the Muhammadan personality comes forth. The Muhammadan personality is a personality which inspires tahmeed. So you can see the word Muhammad and the word tahmeed. It means to produce hamd, or a state of joy, thankfulness, relief, positivity. And this is the belief of those who have believed in the Hamim series. Next, we move on to verse 3, which says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَتَّبَعُوا الْبَاطِلَ وَأَنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَتَّبَعُوا الْحَقَّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ. So those who rejected the previous exposition, they follow falsehood, vanities, something in vain. Yeah. So and those who believe, they follow the truth. Then the verse continues and says, كذلك يضرب الله للناس أمثالهم. So Allah Allah, in that way Allah sets an example for mankind. Yeah, so here we need to see where else has this occurred. Chapter 13 verse 17, which explains the nature of Al-Haq. And I think that is the beauty of this particular chapter. It focuses on Haq and Batil. I mean, yesterday I was reading chapters 45 to 46. A friend of mine asked, what is the formulation of this chapter? I believe that 45 and 46 is about, if you pardon me using today's parlance, it's about keeping it real, getting real, haqqa. That is essentially what it's about. Here in chapter 47, it compares the real, the truth, al-haq, with batil, falsehood. So anyone who says that the Islamic struggle, I mean, I'm sorry to get into polemics here, but I think this is absolutely crucial for Islam. Anyone who says that the struggle of Islam is an imperialistic struggle needs to read this chapter, because this chapter shows that truth and falsehood is the primary reason of the Islamic struggle. Right, so after that preamble, yeah, from verses 1 to verse 6 is a preamble, an opening, a prologue. Verse 7 starts with the first nida, the first call, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So if you believed in this, have you believed in verses 1 to 6? If you have, Allah talks to you, Allah says, In tansurullaha yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. If you will aid Allah, Allah doesn't need your aid, by the way, but if you will aid Him, He will aid you and plant your feet firmly. So that is the purpose of the Islamic struggle, really for your own nafs. It is for your own soul. It's not that Allah needs any one of us. Another interesting verse is verse 11, which talks about, it's still within the same theme of helping Allah, and it says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ مَوْلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. That is because Allah is the protector of those who have believed. So they're now helping Allah. Yeah? We're not talking about anyone who claims to be a believer, but in this particular context, those who have believed. وَأَنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ لَا مَوْلَى لَهُمْ. Those people who are disbelievers, essentially they are concealers, they have rejected, they have no protector. Right, next we move on to the use of the Quran within the context of the struggle. This is another feature of chapter 47, which is not present in chapter 48, and it starts with verse 20, which says, وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and those who have believed say, لَوْلَا نُزِّلَتْ سُورَةٌ, why has a chapter, a surah or a coherent discourse not been sent down? So this is talking about a kind of a meaning of the Quran, where you can see a coherent set of instructions. So the ayah continues, فَإِذَا أُنزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ مُحْكَمَاتٌ وَذُكِرَ فِيهَا الْقِتَالُ. And when a chapter which contains something decisive, something which requires your action, and وَذُكِرَ فِيهَا الْقِتَالُ, and in it is required fighting or conflicting, fighting for the truth again, yeah? And رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضًا, you will see those with disease in their hearts. They will look at you with a look of swoon at the approach of death. So they are afraid of dying for the sake of God. unfortunately, that is the what if you look at chapter 2 verse 216, it's talking about kutiba alaykum al-qital, written on you is fighting. So the fighting for the sake of truth, I mean, we're obviously not talking about the jihadist version of fighting. We're talking about the struggle for truth and justice, helping people in need, even if it means risking yourself. This is enjoined in the Quran. It continues. It says, were it to obey or to say what is just, and when a matter is resolved, it would be best for them. Qawlan ma'ruf. Qawlan ma'ruf here shows a saying which is recognized by all. This is it again. I mean, we're talking about the struggle for truth. Naturally, if you are struggling or fighting for the sake of imperialism or fascism, this is not qawlan ma'ruf. Nobody's going to recognize this except yourself. We're talking to the jihadis now. Yeah? But this is talking qawlan ma'ruf. It is recognized by all. So it would be better for them. So this is what is expected. Then it continues in verse 24. It says, أَفَلَا يَتَتَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ and عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَلُهَا. So do they not seek to understand the Quran, or on their hearts are they locks? So essentially this is telling us what the basic message of the Quran is. The Quran is placing us in the state of struggle between truth and falsehood. What is the truth? Again, we look at chapter 13 verse 17. The truth is that which benefits everyone, benefits mankind. So it's asking us at this point, do we not seek to understand the Quran? Because the underlying message of the Quran is that the struggle for the truth. The next call to alladhina amanu is in verse 33. It says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O ye who have believed, ati'u Allah, obey Allah, ati'u Rasul, obey the messenger, wala tubtilu a'malakum, and do not render vain your deeds. So again, tubtilu, batil, it's telling us about the struggle for truth and falsehood again. Inna alladhina kafaru wasaddu an sabilillah. This is the next verse. Those who have rejected and they are presenting obstacles on the path of Allah. Sabilillah, in the Quran we can see that there is almost like a synonymity, not an exact synonymity, but an approximation with the concept of Masjid al-Haram, which I mentioned before, is a space in which people are inviolable. They are safe. And this is the struggle. The struggle is to prepare a space where everyone is safe. And the people who refuse to obey Allah and obey the Messenger, they are going against this. So obeying Allah and obeying the Messenger is not something religious, contrary to popular belief. It is something which is qawlan ma'ruf. It's recognized by all. In fact, the human being will understand this as something which we have been striving for in all our intellectual endeavors. The only thing is, because the Quran is touted as a religious book, this is the obedience to Allah and Messenger is seen as something religious. So this is essentially how the chapter ends. It talks about those who believe and the way to Allah again, to spend in the way of Allah, and about building the space, which is Sabilillah, Masjid al-Haram. So next we move on to chapter 48.